Trailblazers by TechEdge AI, the podcast where we explore how technology is reshaping industries. I'm your host, Swastika, and today we have Shawn Jacques, Senior Vice President of Software Engineering at Formstack. In today's episode, we'll dive into how AI is transforming the development of in house applications, how organizations are leveraging AI driven automation for data collection and activation, the future of AI based innovation in workplace productivity. Will also explore the balance between AI advancements and data security compliance. Sean, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. How's the day going so far?
It's going fantastic, and it's great to come on here and talk about all the interesting stuff we're doing at Formstack and just really the interesting stuff that's happening in the whole industry. So excited to have a great conversation today.
Amazing. Yeah, same. Sean, you have an impressive career spanning over 20 years in software engineering and leadership roles, including key positions at Amazon and Mindbody. What initially drew you to the field, and how has your journey shaped your perspective on AI-driven automation?
Really, it started a long time ago just solving problems, right? And computers were another way to do that. And it's super interesting. Learned a ton going through Amazon and Mindbody and various companies I've worked with. And at each one, seeing the impact it has on real people too. When people say, I was able to get my fitness and health done at Mindbody because of your software. Or at Amazon, I worked in Kindle and I was able to say, we were able to pay our mortgage because we were able to publish a book independently and sell it on your marketplace. Right? Those kind of situations where you can solve problems but help real people at the same time. It's really exciting and energizing.
That's a great background. Now, looking at today's landscape, AI is revolutionizing how businesses build and deploy internal applications. In your view, what role does AI play in transforming in-house application development?
Yeah, so AI, it's a kind of a trite phrase, but can democratize the world of software, can make it really easy for folks to do things that before might require a large number of software developers or a lot of money to do. But now with a few people and a lot of AI tooling, you can do a lot more. And you still need people involved, but you can get leverage just like if you were using a pulley to lift a heavy weight, right? You can lift a lot more that way than you can if you just try and lift a rock by yourself. And it's the same thing with AI tooling.
But beyond development, AI also redefining data collection and utilization. How have AI-powered tools changed the way organizations gather, process, transform raw data into actionable insights?
Yeah, so a great example is your data warehouses or your places where you connect data. And again, before people would have to write queries or set up dashboards or go through a whole lot of work to get the end user question answered. You can say things like a complex English sentence, and the tools will show you the graphs you want. And then you don't like the way that graph is, like, show me that as a bar graph or a pie graph, or show that by month instead of by year. And instead of a programmer having to go in and make all those changes, you as the non-technical end user can just ask your questions and get the insights and results you want kind of out the other side.
Perfect. Formstack has been at the forefront of AI-driven automation, right? Can you share how your team is leveraging AI to enhance data capture and activation for users?
Absolutely. So there's a couple examples of what we've done, and then a great example of what we're doing that's coming up. So on what we've done, so Formstack does a whole workflow automation process for our customers. That's forms and documents and signing and workflows, anything that's moving data kind of back and forth. And so for us, we were able to say it's building a form. We've made it pretty easy, but you still have to click through and move fields and do those kind of things. Instead, earlier this year, I guess last year now, we released a feature that was just say, I want to make a form for my child's lemonade stand or for my bake sale. And the AI will take that, figure out what it needs to do on the back end, generate the form with our own tools and show it to you. And then you might make a tweak or two. So what might have taken you, hours to do before our software and half an hour to do with our software now takes you a couple minutes with the AI leverage and the tools. So that's kind of what we've done. What we're doing coming up is kind of even more exciting. We had an acquisition middle of last year called OpenRaven, and they brought a lot, and I think, we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but they brought a lot of the security-focused technology and tooling to our business automation tooling. And if we put those two together, now we can not just ask someone to type in a sentence to generate a form, but we can look at existing data in their organization. And what we're calling it is activate that data. so it's usable in those forms and documents and workflows that the rest of our system works with and powers.
Amazing. So your AI capabilities have helped enterprises like Erza Permanente, Shopify, Netflix digitize and automate critical processes. What are some key ways Formstack has enabled these organizations to streamline workforce and improve operational efficiency?
Yeah, so I'm not sure about the specific companies. We work with a lot of companies, but in general, the things that we do in those cases are make pretty complex workflows. So you can say, here's where we gather the information in a form, we pre-fill that information, we allow users to change it, then we generate a document. So it might be, say in a case of Netflix, it might be a survey, but then you also would want to change some of your settings. So it can move data back and forth within a workflow and within this process. So that's kind of the existing process. And that's very powerful, but not quite as deep as our new products that I was talking about, where we can actually interrogate those data sources and both read and write back to those systems that our customers have to really give them, it's almost like an AI view into their data. In the same way that I mentioned the AI insights for the data warehouse, this is sort of allowing customers to treat all of the data systems as one big data warehouse that they can manipulate with easier tools than they would already.
Perfect. Of course, with AI innovation comes the responsibility of ensuring data security and compliance. How does Formstack balance the need for powerful AI-driven features while maintaining the security and regulatory standards?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple aspects there. The first one is I mentioned OpenRaven, the acquisition we made last year. They have a lot of great technology, including machine learning and AI models that will classify data. So when we look at those data sources from customers, without the customers having marked it in any way, we read those schemas and the way the data is shaped in and classify it to say, this part of your data is PII, personally identifiable information, or this is HIPAA data. So we can use AI to classify the data schemas they have and say, if you want a form that doesn't have any HIPAA, don't use these fields. Or if you want a form that doesn't have any PII, you're not allowed to use these forms. So in line to the tools, we can automatically classify the data and make sure that the user knows what they're working with when they're working with it. So that's at the customer level. At the technology level, using things like AWS Bedrock allows us to run our AI models effectively inside our virtual data center in Amazon and AWS. And so just like you would trust us to store your data in a database, the AI models don't have any more risk than storing the data in a database because they're all within our environment, protected environment in AWS, if that makes sense.
Right. Amazing. So, looking ahead, what future AI-driven developments do you anticipate introducing to further optimize workforce of workplace automation and in-house application development?
Yeah. So the exciting thing for me in the next 6 months, we're releasing our new product sometime soon. And one of the most amazing things that we'll be able to do is not just having a user kind of query the data with those AI insights, like I talked about before. But as you might imagine, with any SaaS software system, there are a lot of APIs that get used to build that, to give that functionality to the customer. There's another AI component that allows the system to actually use the AI query engine and use those APIs. So for an example, whereas before you might say, like I said, show me a graph of this data, and it looks at the data and shows a graph. Now you might say, I'm a little confused by how to delete a workflow. Please show me a list of all the workflows. And then when it shows you the list, say, please delete workflow number 4. And because the AI understands our APIs, it can take that generative language model and say, I know how to, without any programming, call those APIs and get the results I want that the non-technical end user asked for. So that's kind of a next level up above insights. That's really that agentic AI capability that people are so excited about. And that's why, because it can do pretty amazing stuff like that.
So, actually, wanted to know your journey in Formstack. If you are comfortable telling me how it started and how things are going right now.
Yeah, no, I've been here about 2 years. It seems like it's been a long time. It's only been about 2 years. So been here about 2 years, a lot of great people. And again, the mission driven model where you can say that we're really affecting customers' lives and their customers too, right? So you get these 2 steps of value creation where our customers are getting a lot of benefit in running their business. But we also have hospitals say, during COVID, we streamlined the logistics of getting people into the hospital, and we were able to see 3 times more patients than we would have otherwise without your software. So that's like life and death stuff, right? We made their process more effective. They could see more patients. They could save more lives. That's a good reason to get up in the morning.
Amazing, amazing. How do you think AI is like right now we see that AI has become an integral part of day-to-day life, right? How do you think that is going to go in the future? How us, in workplace will be taking AI in, different forms maybe?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two pieces to that. There's, kind of us in the software space and then our customers. For us, I think it's really uh, going to be another tool, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, when I first started, everybody was writing code and text editors, no graphical interface, really slow, really hard to do. Then you got graphical editors that made it a lot faster. And now we have AI sort of companions or AI partners to work through these problems with. And what I've seen it in at Formstack is it's really accelerated the development of our software, but it still needs that human component. And so it's this tool kind of back and forth using things to accomplish the goals a lot faster. So that's the software development piece. I think the exciting thing for me from a customer and industry standpoint is this is the same pattern we've seen in a lot of things. You get these basic technologies, and then people start kind of pipelining them together. It's one's powerful, but when we put 3 or 4 or 5 in a chain together, that's when the real magic happens, and we get stuff that just doesn't seem possible, a few years ago. That's happening and real and functional for customers.
Thank you so much. This has been an insightful conversation, Sean. It's actually very insightful. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. To our listeners, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into how AI is shaping the future of technology. This is your host, Swastika, signing off.